Darlene Zschech, who was born on September 8, 1965, in Brisbane, Australia, is a famous figure in the world of modern Christian music. As a worship leader, songwriter, and pastor, she has had a huge impact on many people's lives through her music and ministry. From a young girl with a love of music to an internationally known worship leader, her journey has been marked by hard work, creativity, and an Zech grew up in a Christian home and was exposed to music at a young age. Her family's involvement in church life sparked her love for worship and music, laying the groundwork for her career. As a teenager, she started leading worship at her local church and discovered her unique ability to connect with people through music, sparking a love for worship that would shape her future. In the mid-1990s, Darlene Zach joined Hillsong Church, which was becoming a major player in modern worship music. Led by Pastor Brian Houston, the church created an atmosphere that encouraged creative expression and musical innovation. Zach quickly became a key figure in this movement by using her. Darlene had the musical skills and musical gifts to lead worship services that both regulars and visitors enjoyed. Her job at Hillsong went beyond leading worship. She also played a big part in building up the church's music ministry. Darlene's vision for worship emphasized both musical excellence and a deep spiritual connection with God. This approach turned worship services into vibrant expressions of. During her time at Hillsong, Faith brought in a wide range of people and encouraged members of the congregation to get involved. Jack led the worship team in making a series of live albums that show off the church's dynamic worship culture. These albums caught the energy and sincerity of Hillsong's worship. Darlene Zschech's influence on modern Christian music goes beyond her time as worship leader at Hillsong Church in Sydney, Australia. She has become a successful solo artist, author, and sought-after speaker who travels a lot for ministry and worship. She has won many awards for her devotion to worship and songwriting, including the prestigious Australian Christian Music Awards. Through her music and ministry, Dar has influenced many worship leaders in churches around the world, solidifying her legacy as a transformative figure in the world of worship. In addition to her work with Hillsong, Darlene Zschech has released several solo albums. She's solo work has given her the chance to try out different musical styles while staying true to the core message of her faith. Albums like Change Your World 1994, Kiss of Heaven 2000, and I Will Not Be Afraid 2016 are full of powerful worship songs that inspire and uplift listeners. Each album shows her deep faith and commitment to worship with lyrics that encourage closeness with God and a lively expression of praise. Works with different artists and musicians, which adds new ideas and creative energy to her projects. Her ability to write songs that speak to both large groups of people and individual listeners has made her a sought-after artist in the Christian music industry, in addition to her musical pursuits. Darlene Zschech has written a number of books about worship leadership and the Christian faith. Her books, such as The Kiss of Heaven and Worship Changes Everything, talk about how important worship is in the life of a believer and how it can change things. In her books, she encourages people to get to know God and have real relationships with others. Darlene's style of teaching is unique because she can connect with people on a personal level. She talks about her own struggles and victories in faith, which makes her lessons more relevant and powerful. As a speaker, she has been invited to many conferences and events to share her knowledge on worship leadership and the importance of community in the church. Zech's ministry has. She has led worship at events, conferences, and church gatherings all over the world. Her extensive travel has given her the chance to meet with a wide range of congregations and encourage and equip worship leaders and musicians from various cultural backgrounds through her ministry. Focuses on how worship can be experienced by everyone, regardless of language or culture. Her participation in international worship events like Worship Together conferences and purpose-driven church events shows her dedication to promoting unity among believers. Darlene often works with other well-known worship leaders and artists, which increases her impact even more. These experiences make her ministry stronger and give her chances to learn from others while sharing her thoughts on worship and faith. Darlene Zschech's contributions to Christian music have been recognized with many awards over the course of her career. Several Australian Christian Music Awards have been given to her for her outstanding songwriting and worship. These awards, given for leadership and musical performance, show how much of an impact she has had on the industry and how dedicated she is to making music that honors God. Her songs, especially Shout to the Lord, have become famous around the world, being translated into many languages and sung in churches of all faiths. Encourage churches to use modern worship styles that appeal to their congregations. During her time at Hillsong Church, Darlene Zschech was a key figure in the growth of modern Christian worship music. Her work on many albums, such as For All You've Done, Mighty to Save, and The iHeart Revolution, has had a lasting effect on people all over the world. These albums not only showed off Darlene Zschech's amazing songwriting skills, but they also included a wide range of musical styles that made modern worship accessible and interesting for a lot of congregations. For All You've Done, which came out in 2004, is one of the most important albums to come out during Darlene Zschech's time at Hillsong. For All You've Done made history when it became the first Christian album in Australia to debut at #1 on the Australian Recording Industry Association RIA charts. The album's success showed not only Hillsong's growing influence on the global worship scene, but also Zech's ability to write songs that believers really connected with. Zschech's contributions to the album included her signature style of leading worship. Passionate and easy to understand, the album's songs ranged from upbeat praise songs to personal expressions of faith, showing the wide range of styles that Hillsong's worship music was known for. Songs like One Way into You were popular with younger listeners because of their upbeat and modern sound, while Glorify Your Name was a more contemplative worship song. Enjoy this range of styles on Made for All You've Done, which can be used in a variety of worship settings, from large congregational gatherings to more private moments of devotion. Another important album that Darlene Zschech helped make is Mighty to Save, which came out in 2006 and has become one of the most important worship albums in Hillsong's history. Mighty to Save, which received critical acclaim around the world, included songs by a number of Hillsong worship leaders. The singer's leadership and ability to bring the group together around a common goal were clear throughout the recording. The album also included a variety of musical styles, from upbeat praise songs like Take It All to emotional ballads like At Thee. This variety showed that Zschech and Hillsong wanted to make worship music that congregations of all sizes and backgrounds could enjoy. Zschech's leadership on this album and her skill at blending modern and traditional worship styles helped make sure that churches around the world could listen to the music, no matter what their worship style is. Hillsong's ambitious project, The iHeart Revolution, was made possible in large part by Sir C's work on the two-part live album and documentary that showed the global worship ministry and how their music affected churches all over the world. The iHeart Revolution was recorded over several years and included live worship sessions from cities like London, Cape Town, and Buenos Aires. Both the record and the documentary showed how much Hill loved global missions and worship. They captured the spirit of Hillsong's vision to see people from all over the world united in worship. Songs like Hosanna and From the Inside Out had already. Her songs have become well-known anthems in worship communities all over the world, and the live recordings show how diverse and united the global church is. Zschech has influenced many worship leaders in churches around the world, and many up-and-coming musicians look up to her and say that her emphasis on being real and heartfelt has changed the way they understand worship. A generation of worship leaders has been inspired by Darlene to follow their calling with passion and honesty. Her teaching and mentoring have been very helpful in helping worship leaders deal with the many challenges of ministry, from writing songs to leading congregations in worship. Darlene's approach to worship stresses the importance of both musical skill and spiritual depth, encouraging leaders to create spaces where people can connect with God in a deep way. Darlene Zschech is a well-known name in modern Christian music, known for both her powerful praise songs and her strong devotion to her family and faith. She is married to Mark Zschech and has 3 children. Darlene's life is a mix of personal devotion and professional passion. Her Christian faith has helped her through many difficulties, shaping her character and ministry. This essay talks about her family life and how important her, and how these things have intertwined with her journey. Darlene Zschech's marriage to Mark Zach has been a cornerstone of her personal life. The two have had a relationship that goes beyond the traditional roles of husband and wife. They work together in ministry and help each other. Through all of life's ups and downs, Mark has been a faithful partner, often standing by Darlene as they balance the demands of ministry, music, and family life. Together, they have 3 children, Amy, Chloe, and Zara. As a mother, Darlene has stressed the importance of family values and creating a home where faith is central to her children's lives. A supportive environment that shows her beliefs shows that she puts her family ahead of the many demands of her public persona. Darlene has often talked about how happy and fulfilled she is to be a mother. Juggling a successful music career with the duties of parenting isn't easy, but she's done it with grace and determination. Zach's commitment to her family is an inspiration too. It is possible to have both a successful career and a happy family life. At the center of Darlene Zschech's life is her Christian faith, which has helped her through many challenges and shaped her outlook on life and ministry. Growing up in a Christian home, Darlene formed a personal relationship with God that has grown stronger over the years. Her faith is not just a background to her music, it is her life, is the basis of her life and career. Her music also often reflects her beliefs and experiences. Songs like Shout to the Lord and Worthy is the Lamb show how much she loves and worships God, and they have touched millions of people around the world. Darlene's music not only lifts people up, but it also encourages them to grow closer to God. People in the Christian community love Darlene Zschech because she has put her personal faith into powerful worship songs. She has had an indelible effect on modern Christian music and worship ministry, but her journey has not been without personal challenges. Throughout her life and career, Zach has faced major problems that have tested her faith and strength. One of the most important events in her life was being diagnosed with cancer in 2019, but also through her family and ministry. Darlene's willingness to talk about her problems has turned them into powerful testimonies of faith that have helped many people who are going through their own problems. In 2019, Darlene Zschech got a diagnosis that would change her life and perspective. The news that she had cancer shocked her and her family, forcing them to face a hard truth that many families have to face. The initial shock of the diagnosis brought on a storm of emotions, including fear, uncertainty, and questions about the future. For someone who had dedicated her life to ministry and helping others encounter God through worship, this was a very hard time. Zach's diagnosis came at a time when she was deeply involved in ministry, leading worship and traveling for. She was worried about what would happen in the world and having to back out of her commitments. She was also worried about how her health might affect her family and ministry. But Darlene chose to face this challenge with strength and faith. and her response became an example for those who looked up to her as a leader. The diagnosis affected not only Darlene but also. As a wife and mother of three, Zech's health problems brought her family together in a special way. They rallied around her, supporting and encouraging her through the hard parts of treatment and recovery. The experience strengthened their bonds and showed them how important it is to stick together and love each other through life's problems. In her ministry, Zech's cancer diagnosis helped people deal with their problems through love and unity. It was a powerful reminder of how fragile life is and how important faith is. While she was in treatment, she continued to lead worship and share her story with others, showing that it is possible to keep a heart of worship even when facing big problems. Being open about her struggles gave many in her congregation and beyond hope for those going through their own. During her battle with cancer, Darlene Zschech's faith was a key part of her strength. She often turned to prayer, scripture, and worship as sources of strength during the hardest times. Zschech has been very open about how her relationship with God gave her comfort and peace while she waited for her diagnosis. In interviews and public appearances, she has talked about how worship has the power to go beyond circumstances, offering solace and perspective even in times of. She talked a lot about God's faithfulness and love, which helped people hold on to their faith through life's problems. Darlene's response to her cancer diagnosis wasn't one of defeat, but of determination to inspire others. She became a beacon of hope for many, showing that faith and fear could coexist and that vulnerability could lead to deeper connections. By talking about her journey with God and other people, she has helped make illness less mysterious, making other people feel less alone in their struggles. Zech's honesty about her cancer has given her the tools to help others going through similar problems. By talking about her experiences in social media interviews and public speaking, she has created a space for people to talk about faith, healing, and resilience. Many people have found comfort in her story and realize they are not alone in their struggles. In her ministry, Zschech has used themes of healing, hope, and faith in her worship leading. Her songs continue to reflect her journey and connect with people who have been through similar struggles. By drawing on her own experiences, she has written music that speaks to the heart and encourages people. Worshippers who may be going through their own problems on top of her own health problems, especially her cancer diagnosis in 2019. Zschech has dealt with the pressures and scrutiny that come with being a public minister. Being a public minister has its own set of pressures, and for someone like Darlene Zach, who has been in the public eye for decades, the expectations can be too much. As a speaker and minister, Zach is often seen as an example by many people in congregations. This can be a sign of her influence, but it can also lead to scrutiny and the constant pressure to keep up a certain image. Zach has been open about how hard it is to balance her ministry with her personal life. Leading worship, traveling for events, and interacting with her audience can be hard for anyone, but for someone in the spotlight, these pressures can be even stronger. Trying to keep her family life normal while dealing with public expectations takes strength and purpose. Darlene's dedication to her family is clear as she makes time for her husband and 3 kids, even though she has a lot going on. Keeping family life normal while being a public figure is a challenge that many people in ministry face. For Zach, having a visible family has both pros and cons. Having a supportive family unit gives them a strong base, but it also exposes them to. Being in the public eye can make family relationships more difficult because the line between private life and public persona gets blurry. To deal with the stresses of public ministry, Zschech has stressed the importance of open communication within her family by creating a safe space where her children feel comfortable talking about their feelings and concerns. She also encourages resilience. She has also worked to protect her family's privacy by setting limits so they can enjoy normal family moments without being watched all the time. Darlene's ability to balance her ministry and family life shows how dedicated she is to both her calling and her family. She often shares moments from her family's life on social media, giving her audience a glimpse into their daily lives and making them feel connected to her. Transparency helps make her experience as a public figure more real by showing that even people in ministry have daily struggles and successes. Despite the stresses of public ministry and her health problems, Darlene Zschech has shown amazing strength. Her time in cancer treatment has strengthened her faith and devotion to her ministry, and she has used her problems to encourage others that problems don't have to be insurmountable. During this hard time, she has led and inspired worshipers by being honest about her struggles and connecting with people who may feel alone in their own struggles. Her message of hope stresses that faith can exist alongside fear and doubt, and she encourages others to embrace their vulnerability. This vulnerability has hit home for her in a deep way. Ski's strength is shown by her unwavering dedication to worship. She hasn't let her health problems or the attention of the public stop her from following her calling to lead others in praise. Instead, she has leaned into it, using her platform to share stories of healing and restoration. By weaving her personal story into her ministry, Darlene has created a powerful story that encourages and inspires others to trust in God's faithfulness. As a major figure in contemporary Christian music, Darlene has inspired many people to pursue a deeper relationship with God and to stay true to their faith, steadfast in their faith, even when things went wrong. Her journey shows what it means to live a life of worship, one that is marked by honesty, resilience, and a desire to serve others through her music, testimony, and mentoring. Darlene Zschech continues to be an inspiration to many, reminding us that our problems can lead to stronger faith, deeper connections, and a better understanding of God's unfailing love.